In 2002, a 31-year-old entrepreneur named Elon Musk had just cashed out of PayPal, a company he co-founded, for over $1.5 billion. But instead of sailing into a comfortable retirement, he set his sights on something far more audacious: space. Musk founded SpaceX with a singular, almost crazy mission: to slash the cost of space travel and start humanity on its path to becoming a multiplanetary species. Back then, the final frontier was the exclusive playground of government agencies and colossal aerospace corporations. The idea of a private company building its own rockets from the ground up sounded absurd. Veteran engineers openly mocked the concept. But Musk wasn't kidding. He poured over $100 million of his own fortune to turn this science fiction dream into a reality. SpaceX started small, in a warehouse in El Segundo, California, with a handful of brilliant engineers who shared a big dream and a very small budget. Their first project was a small rocket called Falcon 1-2 Sabimani. They decided to build almost everything from scratch. Buying parts off the shelf from established suppliers was just too expensive. Unlike traditional aerospace contractors, SpaceX embraced a radical idea: vertical integration. They built everything in-house: the engines, the rocket structure, the flight computers, even the launch software. It was an unheard-of level of control, and it was incredibly risky. But if they could pull it off, it meant they could control costs and innovate at a speed no one else could match. Their first launch attempt, in 2006, ended in a spectacular disaster. The rocket lifted off, only to catch fire and crash into the ocean just 25 seconds later. Their second launch in 2007 made it further but still failed to reach orbit. Then, in August 2008, the third attempt came agonizingly close. It reached space, but a tiny timing error prevented it from achieving a stable orbit. Each failure was a multi-million-dollar catastrophe. Investors were getting nervous, and the team was burning out. The media had a field day, painting SpaceX as just another billionaire's expensive hobby. By late 2008, Musk admitted the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. He had just enough cash left for one final launch. If this next rocket failed, SpaceX would be finished. September 28, 2008. On a tiny island in the Pacific, the fourth Falcon 1 stood ready on the launch pad. For every single person at SpaceX, this was it, the make-or-break moment. Years of relentless work, hundreds of jobs, and Musk's entire fortune were riding on what happened next. As the rocket roared to life and climbed into the sky, the mission control room fell silent. Everyone held their breath. This time, everything worked. Falcon 1 successfully reached orbit. In that moment, SpaceX made history. They had become the first privately funded company to launch a liquid-fueled rocket into orbit. Cheers and tears filled the control room. Musk himself was overcome with emotion. He later confessed, if that flight had failed, SpaceX would have been done. Just 6 weeks after that miraculous success, a phone call changed everything. It was NASA. They awarded SpaceX a massive $1.6 billion contract to fly cargo missions to the International Space Station. It was a monumental leap of faith. NASA had never entrusted such a critical mission to a private company before. That contract wasn't just money. It was a lifeline. It saved SpaceX from bankruptcy and gave them the legitimacy they desperately needed. Now, the real work began. The company had to prove it could build a bigger, better rocket, one capable of carrying precious cargo and eventually human beings. Traditional rockets were designed to be used just once, like throwing away an airplane after a single flight. SpaceX wanted to shatter that paradigm with reusable boosters that could launch, deliver their payload, and then fly back to Earth to land upright. It sounded impossible. Even NASA had tried and failed at something similar decades earlier. After countless prototypes, fiery explosions, and heart-stopping near misses, in December 2015, they finally did it. A Falcon 9 rocket lifted off, sent its satellites to orbit, and minutes later, its first-stage booster descended from the heavens and landed perfectly on a landing pad. That single landing completely rewrote the economics of spaceflight. Every time a booster could be reused, It saved millions of dollars. A new era of commercial space travel had officially begun. For decades, NASA had relied on aerospace giants like Boeing and Lockheed Martin. Suddenly, SpaceX, the scrappy startup that had nearly gone bust, was launching rockets for a tiny fraction of the cost. The established players were stunned, while the old guard charged upwards of $400 million for a single launch. SpaceX's Falcon 9 could do the job for under $70 million, and that price kept dropping. This cost revolution sent shockwaves through the industry, forcing everyone to rethink how rockets are built and operated. In 2011, America retired its space shuttle program, leaving its astronauts to hitch rides to the International Space Station on Russian rockets. But in May 2020, SpaceX brought human spaceflight back to U.S. soil. Astronauts Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken climbed aboard the sleek Crew Dragon capsule and were launched into orbit. It was the first crewed mission from American soil in nearly a decade. The moment was historic, emotional, and a powerful symbol of the company's journey. SpaceX had gone from 3 failed launches and the brink of collapse to safely launching NASA astronauts into space. But SpaceX wasn't done. The company launched Starlink, a breathtakingly ambitious project to blanket the globe in high-speed internet using a massive constellation of satellites. With tens of thousands of small satellites orbiting the Earth, Starlink is one of the boldest tech projects in history. While some critics raised concerns about space debris, Starlink has proven to be providing vital internet access in remote areas and even conflict zones, like keeping Ukraine online during the war. This project alone is set to generate billions in revenue money that will ultimately fund Musk's final goal, a city on Mars. Of course, the journey hasn't been without turbulence. SpaceX's CEO is famous for his unpredictable behavior and bold statements, which often attract criticism. Meanwhile, competitors like Blue Origin and Rocket Lab are heating up the new space race, and governments are scrambling to figure out how to regulate this new private frontier. Yet, through all the chaos and controversy, SpaceX remains years ahead of the competition in launch frequency, cost, and raw innovation. Today, SpaceX is valued at over $180 billion, making it the most valuable private aerospace company in the world. But what truly defines them isn't the tech or the valuation. It's a core philosophy. Failure is a necessary part of progress. As Musk often says, if things aren't failing, you're not innovating enough. From the brink of bankruptcy in 2008 to global domination today, the story of SpaceX is a powerful testament to perseverance, audacious belief, and relentless innovation. It's a reminder that even our greatest leaps can begin with a few failed launchers. The rise of SpaceX proves that with enough vision, risk, and resilience, you can rewrite history. From PayPal to Mars, Elon Musk's dream continues to push humanity beyond its limits. And as we all look up to the stars, one thing is certain: this story is far from over.